Good evening, welcome to Focus with Tim Thomas. We're coming to you from the Joseph Miller Auditorium here at Baptist Health, and we want to thank them for allowing us to come in because we have a very special program. This program is centered around the new Madisonville transit system, and we're going to be talking to two individuals that help pull this together and make this become a reality. We want to take opportunity also to thank our sponsors of this program. This evening, we want to thank the City of Madisonville and First United Bank for their support of Focus. And we're glad you joined us. Call someone, let them know the program is on. We're talking to today Mr. Kenneth Johnson, who's Transportation Director of the Penarrow Allied Community Services. And he's being joined by Mr. Ted Atkins, who is the Executive Director of the Hopkins County Joint Planning Commission. So they're going to be talking about the transit system, and we hope you will take heed, take some notes, learn more about the transit system here in the city of Madisonville. Come on in, my friends. Glad to have you. Kenneth, good to see you.
Thank you, Tim.
Glad to have you, Mr. Ted.
Sir.
All right. Ted, I guess I'll start with you first. The transit system,
Do you want to say?
up and going, you good? Up and going, and tell us a little bit how it came into fruition.
All right. Well, from our perspective with the Planning Commission, a couple of years ago when we were working on the comprehensive plan, it was mentioned in our public meetings the need for public transportation. So once we finished and finalized the plan and got that adopted, one of our implementation steps was to get that started. And, so through your persistence, we got in contact with Craig Morris down at the PAD office, and we were talking to him about it. Just so happened Hopkinsville had just started their bus transportation system, and he put us in contact with Ken to discuss Madisonville. So Cindy and I from the office went down and met with Ken and Craig and got that discussion started, and immediately it came alive.
Wow.
So he was the right man to be in contact with. So what we did from there is we came back to the office, put some numbers together and some ideas together, made a proposal to the city of Madisonville to see if they would be interested in supporting this, and they jumped right on board too. So I mean, it was almost the stars were
Everything
aligned.
just fell in place, basically. Yeah.
So yes, through the support of the city of Madisonville and Ken, we were really able to get it going. So.
Wow, wow. Exit into Kenneth. He comes on to the scene and tell us a little bit about how it continued to progress.
Well, we'd already had experience doing this through the Hopkinsville transit system, which has been extremely successful. And, you know, one thing that I got to offer to the Mayor Jackson was that we'd already made all the mistakes once. So maybe we could come in here and not make quite so many. And we started May 22nd, and we've finally got the buses in a couple of months ago. We've got the system up and running, and so far it's been very successful.
Great, great. Tell us a little bit how the finance worked in pulling this together.
This is a grant that's run through our 5311 Rural Transportation Grant, and it's done through the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. The city of Madisonville commits to spending up to a certain amount, half of the budget for the system, and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet pays for the other half, and we operate it as PACs.
Great. Now that we see it in progression, see it up and running, tell us the successes we've had with it so far.
Well, our very first day, we took one of our first passengers was going to work at the mall. We had another passenger go to the library where they're employed. We've sold more bus passes than I ever expected. The bus passes are inexpensive, and we'll go over the prices in a minute, but we had a bunch of different bus passes sold. Some people just riding around to look at the city, and a lot of folks riding around to see what was available. They didn't know where all it went. So as opposed to trying to sort through a brochure, they just got on the bus and rode around for $2.
It's so economical. People can afford it, of course, and not only that, but it covers such a wide area of the city, most of the entire community.
Yes, sir.
Right. What are the prices for that?
The prices are, just to get on the bus, it's $1, and we've got discounts available to that $1 if you're disabled or you're active military, a senior citizen. You can get on the bus for 50 cents, but for everybody it's $1. And for a bus pass, you can ride unlimited all week for $5, and unlimited all month for $15 if you buy that pass.
Wow.
And this system isn't developed to ever make money. It will never make money. This is a community service. Madisonville sponsored it, Joint Planning Commission and PACS. That's what we're here to do.
Right.
This system is here to serve the public.
Right. Ted, how does this coincide with the comprehensive plan that the Planning Commission has established?
Well, like I said earlier, this was identified in our public meetings as a need for the community. So it fits hand in hand with the comprehensive plan.
Right.
And it's one of those things that was identified, put in the plan, and now has come to fruition. And I mean, that's what the plan's for.
Right.
So,
For our listeners that may not, we talk about the comprehensive plan because we know what it is, but for those that may not know, tell us what the comprehensive plan is and how the committees were set up to form the comprehensive plan.
okay. Well, the comprehensive plan is the 20-year master plan for the community of Madisonville and Hopkins County as a whole, along with our other communities of Hanson, Burlington, Dawson Springs, and Morton's Gap. But every 5 to 10 years, we look at the comprehensive plan, updating that, and so we put together committees of community leaders, our planning commissioners, city officials, members at large throughout the community that deal with the different aspects of the comprehensive plan, and transportation is one of them. So this fit right in the transportation plan part of the master plan.
Gotcha. So we're looking at on the screen here, I guess this is part of the ribbon cutting, Killer?
Yeah, it's part of the ribbon cutting, just a couple snapshots of the buses. I think Ted's gonna move it up the screen. Up. And that's just some information about the program.
Let's go over that.
New office is located on 120 East Arch Street. The phone number to contact our dispatch office is 821-1595. Our hours that we operate, actually that's a glitch, it's supposed to be 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Buses running 1 hour routes, meeting at the station every hour, so people can transfer to get on a different route. 48 hours in advance, riders can request a deviation, and that's one of the unique things about this, is a deviation, we can come up to 3/4 of a mile off the existing route 2 times an hour per bus. And if we've got somebody that has a disability or isn't able to get to the bus stop, we'll actually bring the bus stop to them and pick them up at their home, or maybe 2 businesses away from where the route exists on a different street. We're only closed, besides weekends, 6 days a year for those 6 holidays. And we've already talked about the bus passes and the fares. Make sure I covered everything. Oh yeah, and children. Children can ride the bus. If you're 12 years old or older, you can ride on your own. And from 7-Eleven, it's a little bit cheaper, 50 cents with an adult. And children under 7 are free with an adult. But we do have the restriction of parents have to bring their own booster and or child seats.
Gotcha. Go Madisonville is actually the name came up with by City Council, Ted, I think.
I believe that was
Basically, part of their
Tourism.
part of their programming, I think, with the city as far as.
Okay, let's move on. All right.
Now this is the blue line, and it covers a large area. The green line's a little bit smaller, but
Okay.
the blue line goes all the way out.
Right, when you say blue line, there's 2 buses?
2 buses, the blue and the
The
green.
blue and the green, okay.
The blue line goes all the way out to the industrial park, to the community college, all the way out Island Ford Road, and then onto Brown Road and the Madisonville Apartments all the way out there, and comes all the way down, let's see, loops back around and then back to the station. The green route, if you want to flip up to it, but this one also covers Kroger and the Sherway. The green route, that's the one that goes over into Pride Avenue, all the way over to West Broadway, covers down to the Marketplace on South Main Street, and then back into town through the Park Avenue and then into the mall area, and comes back to the station from there.
Okay. And at each one of these, there are bus stop signs?
Almost all of them. Almost
Okay.
all of them. There's a stop sign. But you know, one of the more fun things about this bus route compared to other larger systems, this is a rural system made for a small town.
Yeah.
And if you're standing on the side of the road between two bus stops, if you flag down the bus, they're going to pull over as safely as they can to pick up that passenger.
Right.
So we can not only deviate 3/4 mile off the route, if you're not quite to the bus stop yet, we'll still get you.
And my next question is this: maybe if someone is not near a bus stop but needs some transportation from a particular, maybe from the residence or somewhere, do you all make it available to pick those people up?
Yeah, with 48 hours notice, we can come 3/4 mile off the route twice an hour per bus.
Right. So basically, they have to call in.
I was going to say, that 3/4 mile should pretty much cover the entire
It
city.
does. It covers probably 95% of the city.
Yeah, I sort of say, I think
Right.
there's one area on the east side that we can't quite get to.
Yes.
Right.
But of course, our PAX transportation services are still available to bring them in rather cheap.
Right. And it goes as far as what, Ted? North, south, east, west.
I sort of say, if on the south side, it goes all the way up to Brentwood on the south side, so almost all the way to the country club. But if you put that 3/4 mile
That's headed out toward
deviation,
Arlington.
you can get anything in the country club area. Maybe not this back side, but you should be able to get quite a bit of that. On the west, it goes all the way out to the industrial park. It goes out to Wyatt Avenue, off of Newell Avenue. It goes off to Cherry Park. They're off of Sugg Street. It goes all the way out to the Elks Lodge on Princeton Pike. So, I mean, there's your boundaries that way. If you go north on the blue route, it's going to go as far north as the Greyhound bus station, which is there at the Red Cardinal Inn. Like I said, it gets to the college, it goes all the way west to the industrial park. And then east, you can see it goes to Brown Road and out that way. So
Wow.
it pretty much covers the entire city.
It seems like the Green Line, Kenneth, has the largest, more pickup
stops.
area, yeah, more stops.
Well, there's more stops. It also gets into a few more neighborhoods, and so
Gotcha.
far that's been our busiest route. People transferring from the Green Line to ride the Blue Line, but the Green Line also hits several shopping places and the mall.
What have we seen so far as numbers? First week, second week, third week, we're to basically, what are our numbers looking like?
We're up to date all the way to last night. We did 126 passengers the first week. The second week we had Memorial Day, so we were closed on Memorial Day, and in 4 days we did 207 passengers.
Wow.
And as of this week, Monday, we did 50 people, 52 people yesterday. So we're at 102 coming into Wednesday.
Wow.
So it's definitely taken a quick interest. People are out there riding buses.
Right. And we had the ribbon cutting on what day?
The ribbon cutting was the
22nd of May.
22nd?
Of May, and the day actually is June the what? 7th. So great. A number of employees.
We've got 7 part-time employees and 1 full-time supervisor that we've all had to employ fresh since we started the system. Our goal was 5,000 passengers the first year. That's what I tried to guarantee the city that we would do. And just based on our numbers so far, we're already going to beat that number to heck.
Wow. Wow.
We've got, and when we started this system in Hopkinsville, we used the same base numbers, and we pulled that number from other operations throughout the state, because that's what a lot of folks did their first year. And our first year in Hopkinsville, we did 20,000 people. So I felt very comfortable telling them 5,000 passengers for this, and we'll probably do 10 or so.
I'm sure that you have all kinds of stories you can tell with passengers, but give us 1 or 2 stories that you see happening, maybe in Madisonville and how it transpired, maybe even in Hoptown.
Well, there's a couple of interesting stories. Probably one of my favorites from Hopkinsville is a young man that was riding the bus when we first started first week, and I asked him what he was doing, and he said that he was getting applications, and he was on that bus, I mean, all day, bought a month pass, and his second week riding, he got a job. And about 3 months into the system, the bus stop in Hopkinsville stops right at my office. And 3 months into the system, he knocks on my window. So I went outside to talk to him, and he told me he got a car that day and he was done with the buses. It was his last day riding.
Wow.
So, you know, even though that we're doing 950 people a week right now, we've had people that, you know, this PAX's mission is to get people independent.
Right.
And, you know, another story from Madisonville Transit, just in our last 2.5 weeks, on our way out to Red Cardinal Inn, we picked up a young lady, and she was crying at the bus stop, and we pulled up because she said before, through taxi services or friends, that it cost her over $70 a week for transportation. And she took the bus for $1, came straight to our station, and she bought a $15 month pass, and she's instantly saving over $50 a week.
Wow.
Just by this system being in existence.
It's been a blessing,
Yes, sir.
you know, to the citizens of Madisonville, and that's what we like. That's what we want to happen. And,
Well, one of the things that we found with this system is, you know, right now, everybody has a plan A. Everybody's been riding to work, they've been getting to the grocery store, everybody has a plan. What we are is the plan B, and when plan A falls apart and Aunt Mary can't come pick them up, they've got something else to do, and that's where you're gonna see your growth over the next year.
Wow. Ted, tell us a little bit when we talk about the Go Madisonville and the new transit system. I know you've done some research, some history of past transit system. How long has it been since Madisonville had a transit system? Am I throwing you a curve?
You are, that's a curveball, but
Yeah.
I believe Madisonville had a transit system back in the late
50s,
I
early
want to say
60s.
late 50s. I don't think it lasted until the late 60s. I think it was in that time
Something
frame.
different, yeah.
But I believe when that was running, it would connect Morton's Gap to Arlington to Madisonville. Back, I think that's what it did back then.
Yeah, my father rode that bus.
Yeah, I've heard some stories of,
Yeah.
especially at Kiwanis.
Yeah.
They were telling, they remembered the bus, the old bus, but that's the last I remember.
Wow. Well, when we talk about this and the prospects of going over 5,000 passengers in 1 year, it lets us know that the bus line is moving like we wanted to see it move.
Absolutely.
People are
It's already
really-
being utilized
People are
and-
really using it.
It will be utilized more, absolutely.
Well, let's talk a little bit about PAX, because
Okay.
I know that you're the director of PAX, and tell us how PAX work and what's the difference in the PAX and public transit.
Well, PAX Transportation has several different contracts. We've got our 5311 rural contract. That's just completely public transportation. It's 70 cents a mile, so it's a little bit more expensive than Madisonville Transit, but it's also a little bit more versatile, and you can go up to 250 miles one way. PAX Transportation has a Medicaid contract. We have a veterans program, and we have our jobs program. And, you know, our only two deviated fixed routes, which is what these transit systems are in Hopkinsville and Madisonville. And we serve 11 counties in public transportation. So even though we're blessed in Madisonville to have this system, we've got solutions for people that are even more rural areas.
Ted, what is the possibilities of the public transit maybe expanding out into other small communities in our county?
Well, I was going to say, Ken and I have talked a little bit about this before, about even the possibility of a third route in Madisonville if the numbers continue to grow and show the interest that they are, that the third route could be a possibility. I know Kenneth has also talked about the possibility of in the future connecting Madisonville and Hopkinsville even. As far as communities in Hopkins County, I could see that expanding if there was interest from those other communities to get involved and support it.
Yeah, that's a whole different process. And when we started Hopkinsville Transit, it only had 2 bus routes. We did expand the third route, but we never leave the city limits because it's city funds, therefore it stays inside city limits.
Sure. If we can go back to the route, the maps and numbers, Ken, I'm gonna get you to kind of explain as we see the time frame, kind of give us an idea of what that means.
Okay, well, the buses leave every hour at the top of the hour, and they both leave together, then they take off their separate directions. And what you're seeing as far as times is that's the estimated time of arrival at each stop. Now, the buses don't stop unless there's somebody standing there at the bus stop or somebody's trying to flag us down. So it's pretty easy. I mean, well, there's a lot of driving around and doing the timing, but it's pretty easy to read on a brochure that 017 at South Madison Avenue means that the estimated time for the bus to cross that intersection is 17 minutes after every hour.
Gotcha.
Now, of course, there can be traffic delays, bus stops, accidents,
Train.
bad train. I mean, anything can happen.
Right.
Everybody knows if there's interferences, but we try to keep people updated on Twitter and Facebook.
Right. Tim?
Now, there shouldn't be too many trains in the way because both routes only cross one train track.
Right.
And that's the spur track out at the industrial park on 41.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only railroad track the buses cross. It was designed to avoid railroad tracks to be able to stay on schedule. So
Wow, okay.
that's one reason it takes those routes.
Another thing that can throw it off is a deviation. If
Yeah.
we're going off 3/4 mile off the route to pick up somebody, these buses are scheduled to be back 48 minutes after the hour. If we pick up 5, 6 passengers at the same time and then we deviate to pick up somebody that's off the route in a wheelchair, we have to bring the ramp down, we have to load that passenger, secure them safely with our 4-strap system in the back of the bus, and then take back off again, and that can take, in a difficult time, up to 10 minutes. So that can also throw the buses off by a minute or two. But so far in 2.5 weeks, after already transporting 300, 400 people, we've only had 3 routes that were more than 5 minutes behind.
Wow. If people wanted to see more of this, they can go online?
They can't, I believe.
Yes,
there's
MadisonvilleKY.us, that's the city website.
website, and they have
And-
a link at the bottom of the page to the Go Transit system. And there's maps and information on there. So yeah, I don't know if PAX has a direct link or.
We don't have a direct link. We're working on getting our page up, which is going to mirror the Madisonville page.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. What is maybe we haven't talked about that we might want to share? Anything? Let's kind of go over the map again so people kind of get an idea.
Well, both buses leave at downtown, right there at stop 1. And the green route here, since we're on it, takes off right through the tunnel there on Arch Street, runs up beside that park over there off of Pride, loops back around to Woodson, and pretty much that's why it's the busiest bus. This is the one that gets out in the most amount of neighborhoods. Weaves through all the neighborhoods all the way down to Princeton Pike, and then takes off south down Main Street after hitting Multicare, takes off south down Main Street all the way down to Doolan Street, the Victoria Trailer Park. Then it comes back up again, going through the neighborhoods out in the Grapevine area. Now another park out there at Park Avenue. And then it takes off from there, hits Center Street, goes out to the mall, then loops back down Arch Street and goes back to the base.
Great.
So I noticed Kenneth said park, let's see, we had Festus Clayton Park off of Oakland on Pride Avenue. We had Cherry Park off of Sugg Street. Then we had the City Park off of Park Avenue. So that particular route hits at least 3 city parks.
Wow. Which really makes it nice for parents and kids.
Parents and kids, and I mean, there's lots to do at those parks. This one also hits Marketplace, so it's a major grocery. This is on the mall, shopping areas on this one.
Well, and the green route hits Multicare, and the blue route hits Baptist Health.
Right, so
Right.
both medical facilities are on the routes.
Let's go to the blue light, yes.
I'll let Ted do this one. He spent more time driving the blue route than I did.
That's what I'm saying. On the blue route, once again, it starts at the bus station here on Arch Street.
Just a little louder.
It circles around on Center Street, so it hits the Justice Center, the library, heads out Brown Road to the apartment complexes off of Sunrise. It's, is it Cross Creek Apartments?
Cross Creek
on,
Apartments.
Island Ford. And then it turns, goes north to
Kroger and Lowe's.
Oh yeah, it goes to Kroger's and Lowe's, so it hits Kroger's. Grocery shopping there. It goes north to the Greyhound bus station, so I like to joke that you can get on the bus anywhere in Madisonville and go anywhere in the country, because you get to the Greyhound bus station and you can go anywhere.
Right.
Then it comes down and hits the college, swings through and goes by the YMCA,
People that need to get to the YMCA,
Yeah.
ride a bus.
It goes by Bar Park, the new city park there, then it goes out to the industrial park, and comes back in, comes through Martin Mall, hits Sureway, so there's our third major grocery store, and then it comes through and hits the health department and the Baptist Health Complex here, so.
And we've also got our PAC Senior Citizen Center right there on the route as well, so we
Yeah.
can get our folks to the Senior Citizen Center for lunch.
Absolutely, absolutely. An exciting time, exciting time. Ted, I know we want to give kudos because I know our retired city administrator, Chuck Shockley, did a lot in helping to work, plan out these maps. You and him did a lot of riding.
Well, we rode around a few times,
Yeah.
checking things out, seeing how long it took to get from point A to point B, which was a challenge. We really wanted to keep it under 50 minutes and be around 45 minutes, so you can see we're pushing 48 minutes is kind of tight on our schedule. So, but we cover a lot of ground in that hour. So.
We also want to take time, of course, as you mentioned, the city of Madisonville, with Mayor Jackson, city council members who helped bring this into fruition. Without their help, this would not have been possible. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even Craig Morris over at the PAD office.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, we appreciate it because we really started there, as you said, and then worked up to where we are now. And it's a great opportunity. And of course, when you applied for this grant, they, I guess, kind of served the city of Madisonville to see if 2 buses were needed. Is that how that works?
Actually, with the description that we wrote out in the grant and the similarities between Madisonville and Hopkinsville, they didn't ask a lot of questions. They were excited
Really?
for the system, and when they saw the enthusiasm coming from the mayor's office and from the Joint Planning Commission.
So anything that we've missed that we want to talk about?
The only thing that I would say that we can talk about is being a deviated fixed route. One of the fun parts about it is if we're continuously, just 10 times a day, going 2 streets over off of the route to pick up somebody, what this route has the ability to do is we sit down as the Joint Planning Commission and PACs and the city and say, hey, this is where we're going, this is where we need to be, and the routes move. We'll move the routes to hit the locations. A street that's not doing a whole lot right now, but 6 months from now, we're just there 10 times a day, we'll move the route to that spot. So these routes are kind of fluid and they're adaptable to the city. If we've got a route that is, or a stop that's we're not hitting at all, we can remove that stop, move over a street, come in another street, and go where the people are.
Wow. Makes it good. Get
Yeah, Mr. South, one thing I wanted you to talk about was if the bus is full, which it has been a couple of times already here in town.
Yes, it has.
Really?
Tell us what happens
The,
then.
the guarantee is that I give through PACs is that if the bus is full, we share the lot with Madisonville Transit, with all of our PACs offices for transportation. All of our vehicles are there, and we brought extra vehicles down. If a bus fills up and we cannot take a passenger where they need to be, we send a van out to go pick them up and take them directly to where they were wanting to go for the same money. And if they've got a bus pass, they just get the free ride.
Awesome.
But we do that every day in Hopkinsville, that there's an overflow, and we've made that same guarantee for the city of Madisonville.
So we have had a full bus.
Yes, we had
At least a
11
couple
people.
times,
We
yeah.
had 11 people get on at one stop because they wanted to see what would go on, and we had to send somebody after another rider. So yeah, that broke all the records as far as filling up a bus that quickly inside 2 weeks.
Now, if one of the buses had a mechanical issue and was out of service.
Well, they can have a mechanical issue and be out of service, or just regular maintenance. We've got 2 more PACS buses sitting on the lot. They don't have the Madisonville Transit logo, but they'll still be making the routes, and people will get used to seeing those. And we use those as fill-ins in Hopkinsville as well, because everybody has to have an oil change, especially when you're doing 17 miles on every route. You do frequent oil changes and you go through a lot of breaks. So we've already got that already built into the system.
Awesome.
All right, all right. Any other questions you want to ask Ted?
No, I was saying, I think I thought of that a while ago.
Very
good.
And I wanted to mention it, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Great, great. Actually, we're watching the Focus with Ted Atkins show, so I'm just kidding. But we're really glad that you've tuned into our program. This is just exciting, and we've been talking about the Go Madisonville Transit. I want to take an opportunity to thank our guest today, Mr. Kenneth Johnson, Transportation Director of the Penroute Allied Community Services. and Mr. Ted Atkins, who is the Executive Director of the Hopkins County Joint Planning Commission. We appreciate them coming and sharing with us, and we're going to put on the screen the telephone numbers, and the telephone numbers for the PACs.
821-1595.
Just 1 second, let's get it all up there good.
There it is.
All right, 270-821-1595. Call that number if you want. In 48 hours, they can pick you up at your residence. So you have to call in 48 hours earlier. So if you've got a doctor's appointment or you've got a interview coming up last part of the week, you need to call that number and get in on that. So we appreciate that opportunity. We also will put on the website. We'll have that on the screen as well. So we appreciate you tuning into our program. We want to take time to thank SurfKY, who by all means takes care of us. And we're out of the studio with SurfKY this time, and Miss Gwen is behind the camera. Thank you, Gwen, for all that you do and helping to put this together. And again, we want to thank our sponsors, the City of Madisonville and First United Bank. Without them, you would not be able to see me. So I really appreciate them as well. Tune in to another edition of Focus with Tim Thomas. And by all means, keep sharing the dream.